The power of the presence. You touch them at your peril. And they walked into their inheritance. Imagine people who left captivity. They were in bondage for 400 years. And they were defeating nations. Who taught? What military strategy were they using? The presence was a school. The presence was a weapon. The presence was an advantage. And Adam, as an individual, carried that weight of presence. So when Adam is coming, even the animals honored him. No lion was wild. No, you can't be wild when Adam is around. Lions were his pets. Even mosquitoes sang lullabies for him to sleep. Because of what the man carried. So much of God's presence. He moved like a god in the universe. All the princes marveled. What is man that you are mindful of him? The son of man that you did visit him. Who is this creature? Anywhere the guy entered, he was a wonder. Because he carried God's presence. And God wanted to complete that creation by putting his life in Adam. So in Genesis 2:9, he planted the tree of life in the garden. So Adam would have taken of the tree of life and he would have been a complete creation. Carrying God's nature, carrying God's character, carrying God's authority, carrying God's presence, and carrying God's life. When he was approaching that level of completion, then there was a coup in the spirit. And demons, princes that fell from heaven, studied that specimen and looked for a way to bring it down. And they found one: rebellion. We can't fight him, so let's make him self-destruct. And the way to do it is for him to turn against God by disobeying God. And they lured him and he disobeyed God and he fell. And the Bible said they know not, neither will they understand. He said they walk on in darkness. I have said ye are gods because you are the children of the Most High. He said but you will fall like one of the princes. And because they fell, the Bible said the foundation of the earth is out of course. Because when a prince falls, even his environment will fall. So the earth came into bondage because the prince had fallen. And until he is judged and the realm is judged, there is no hope. So he lost everything God gave him. Everything that happened from Adam to the coming of Jesus were little interventions for sustenance. The reprogram for his restoration had to be packaged in another Adam. So there was the first Adam and there had to be the last Adam. Because this is a program for humanity to rise up and function in the class of God. And so God had to bring another entity into the world that carried all of those things that Adam lost. The nature of God, the likeness of God, the authority of God, the presence of God, and the life of God. And there was no creature on earth that carried it. And there was no way you could put it in another creature. Because the first man who had it didn't get it from the earth. It came from heaven. God breathed into him those realities. And so God had to bring the same into the world so that he can ransom the earth. And so for the making of sons to be possible, another son had to walk on the earth. So that when we look upon him, we will understand that which is in the heart of God. And remember, the purpose is for us to be able to extend and advance God's kingdom. And so what did God do? He brought another son to the earth. This is why I told you yesterday, in apostolic doctrine, our major burden is to teach Christ, is to reveal Christ. Because Christ is the summation of all that man requires. If we don't have Christ, we can't be restored. We can't be brought back to the original plan that God has for us. And so in our study of Christ, there are 7 things that we must understand. And these are the things that make us who we are. If we don't know them, and if we don't believe them, we can never become. I wish I had time to teach you about dominion. The dominion that God wanted to give us. Before Adam missed it. You know, God said, let them have dominion. You go read that scripture. Genesis 1:26, reiterated Genesis 1:28. When I searched the word dominion, it meant 4 things, basically. Number one is the authority for governance. That means every man was created a governor. Every man was designed to have his own jurisdiction of operation. That means if you come into a territory, that territory has no power to subdue you. You come as a governor. The ability to dominate was in you. That's why God told him, have dominion over the birds of the air, over the fish of the sea, and over everything that creepeth upon the face of the earth. So every man has a measure of authority over the air, the land, and the water. Even the weakest man, the land where he stands, he has taken over it. You can't go and remove where his footprints are. That land is under him. There's a measure of dominion. It's power for governance. The second meaning for dominion is the authority to prevail. That means men were not created to be defeated. That's why even your biological makeup, you have antibodies that fight foreign materials. You are a creature of dominion. It's a wonder that sickness can bring men down. You were designed, if a virus enters you, it's supposed to die. The virus is not the one to kill you. It was supposed to die. That's how you were designed. But because man is falling, anything now kills him. But he has the power within himself to prevail. That's how he was designed. There was never a need for Adam to take drugs. It was drug emotion. Anything he ate was food. Can you imagine? They were not cooking, yet they didn't die. They plunged on grass. They just ate it. And they were doing well.